Should you buy a Ford Maverick? That's what we're going to find out. Welcome to Car Help Corner, where we help you, the consumer, master the process of car buying and car ownership. It's no secret that modern trucks have become incredibly big, complicated, and too expensive, which is where the Maverick comes in. Compared to other trucks on the market, it's smaller, more sensible, and more affordable, all of which have made it a smash hit with buyers. So, should you consider buying a Maverick, or are you better off spending a little bit more and buying one of the other mid-sized trucks? Well, to find out, I spent the last week testing a number of different Maverick trim models, including a base XL Hybrid, which I'm in right now, an XLT, and a Lariat with the Ecoboost turbocharged engine. So let's begin with choosing between the hybrid drivetrain and the regular gas Ecoboost engine. Now, what is nice is that the price is basically the same regardless of which drivetrain you go for. So it really comes down to performance, efficiency, and everything else when it comes to deciding between them. And after testing them for the past week, I can tell you straight away that the drivetrain to go for is definitely the hybrid for a few reasons. Number one is fuel efficiency. The hybrid is rated to achieve between 35 to 42 miles per gallon, or around 6 to 7 liters per 100 kilometers, which makes it around 25% more fuel efficient than the Ecoboost engine and at least 30% more fuel efficient than the next best truck out there. Over 40 miles per gallon is mind-blowing fuel economy for a truck, and in the long run, that's definitely going to save you a lot of money. And what's really nice is that efficiency doesn't really come at a performance disadvantage. Yes, the Ecoboost engine is more powerful. It produces 250 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque when compared to 191 horsepower in the hybrid. But with that said, in the real world, the performance difference is not really that noticeable. Now yes, the Ecoboost does have a lot more power. It can get up to highway speeds in around 6 seconds, which is actually very quick for a small truck. But the hybrid is also not too bad. It can get up to highway speeds in around 7.5 seconds, which, yes, not as good as the Ecoboost, but still more than enough power for a small truck like this. And not only are you not sacrificing performance with the hybrid, but you're not sacrificing capability either. Both trucks have a payload capacity of around 1,500 pounds, which is pretty good. They both also have a standard towing capacity of 2,000 pounds, and if you go for the available tow package, you can tow up to 4,000 pounds with either drivetrain. The tow package was a new option for the Maverick for 2025. Another option that became available is the all-wheel drive. So now you can choose whether to either have front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive with the hybrid, which is a really nice option to have. So if you want the tow package and all-wheel drive, you can now get both of those options with the hybrid. And then we have the final advantage of the hybrid, which is the biggest one of all, and that is reliability. It's no secret that Ford has a long history of reliability problems with its Ecoboost turbocharged engines. Problems include cam phasers, coolant leaks, turbocharger failure, and sometimes even complete premature engine failure. So all the more reason to go with the hybrid, which is one of the few Ford models that you can buy which does not have a turbocharged Ecoboost engine. The hybrid instead comes with a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine that comes connected to a hybrid system, 2 electric motors with an eCVT planetary gear type transmission. This is actually a very simple old school engine which can actually trace its roots back to Ford's Duratec years. Ford has actually been making this hybrid system now for around 20 years, and it's surprisingly well sorted. With its pair of electric motors, a starter generator motor and a drive motor, along with that planetary gear set eCVT, it's actually very similar in design to Toyota's hybrid system, which is the leader when it comes to hybrids. So with its Toyota-inspired hybrid system, that very simple planetary gear transmission and naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine, and its long proven track record, this is definitely the drivetrain to go for if you want to maximize your chance at long-term reliability. But what is really nice about the Maverick is that regardless of which version you go for, you get an excellent driving experience. This is a surprisingly easy truck to drive. It's extremely maneuverable, very easy to park. It has excellent handling and just a really nice, pleasant driving experience. Now, you definitely do feel the bumps on rougher roads. The suspension is a little bit stiff, which is something that Ford had to do in order to give it that 1,500-pound payload capacity in the bed. But with that said, this is still a pretty comfortable truck to drive and a very easy truck to drive when compared to most others, thanks to that unibody construction, which gives it a really nice car-like feel. And it is a very practical truck. As mentioned, you have that 1,500-pound payload capacity in the bed, up to 4,000 pounds worth of towing capacity, and the bed is a very useful size, 4.5 feet deep, and it's able to hold up to 18 sheets of 4x8 sheets of plywood, so it is very spacious. Now, it's obviously not going to be able to handle heavy towing on a regular basis, but if you're just looking for a city-friendly truck with a good-sized bed that can carry a lot of stuff, this is going to do the job perfectly fine. And part of that practicality is also thanks to the surprisingly spacious interior. Even though this is a small truck, what's nice is that all Mavericks come standard as a crew cab, with surprisingly spacious back seats. Not only do you have enough room for a pair of adults to sit comfortably, but you can fold the back seats up to give you even more space. The front seats are also roomy and you have plenty of storage space around the interior, and even though the overall build quality and fin finish is not exactly the best, you wouldn't really expect that anyway for a truck at this price point. What I do like though is that most of the interior finishes have a nice durable feel to them. So even though everything is basically hard plastic, you do get the impression that this interior will hold up well over time. And what I do like is that you do have excellent tech that comes standard on every model. All Mavericks come with a 13-inch touchscreen infotainment system with wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. Even though I would have liked to see Ford keep more physical controls like a proper gear selector and actual buttons for your climate controls, this is still a very good infotainment system, especially at this price point. Now let's talk about that pricing. The Maverick is priced from around $30,000 to $45,000 US, or around $37,000 to $50,000 Canadian, depending on the trim. Now, here's the thing with the pricing. In order to maximize the value of this truck, you really do need to go for one of the basic models, either the XL or the XLT, with as few options as possible. That's where the Maverick makes a lot of sense. And quite honestly, after spending a few days with the base XL Hybrid, I think that truck offers more than enough for most. Yes, the XL is a pretty basic truck. It's missing a few key features, including cruise control, which is a little bit annoying. But I could certainly live with the basic 17-inch steel wheels and the physical key, which I actually think suit the Maverick quite well. As long as you spend roughly between $30,000 to $35,000 US, or around $37,000 to $42,000 Canadian, no more than that, I think you're getting pretty good value here, especially when compared to other trucks on the market. It's certainly a much better value than its most direct competitor, the Hyundai Santa Cruz, which is nowhere near as efficient as the Maverick with its 2.5-liter turbocharged engine and has more reliability problems, including transmission problems with its 8-speed dual clutch, which I would just stay away from. Where the Maverick becomes a tougher sell is when you go for one of the higher trims or add a lot of options and drive up the price north of, say, $40,000 US or towards $50,000 Canadian, at which point I would start to look at other mid-sized trucks. In that price range, I would definitely take a closer look at the Honda Ridgeline, which has a nice, naturally aspirated V6 engine with better performance. It has more room, a larger bed, and a higher towing capacity, better build quality, and a better reputation for reliability, making it overall a better choice. Or if you want a proper truck with body-on-frame construction, you could take a look at either the Nissan Frontier or the Toyota Tacoma, which also have excellent reputations and are both excellent trucks to go for. If you want a reliable, long-lasting truck that's going to get the job done, either one would be an excellent choice. But like I said, if you just want a more basic truck or something a lot more affordable, a base model Maverick is definitely not a bad way to go. So which truck would be your choice? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. You can take a look at my other videos by clicking the links up in the corner. And if you are planning to purchase a vehicle and you live in Ontario, know that OMVIC is the vehicle sales regulator that's responsible for enforcing and administering the rules that dealerships must follow. To learn more about your consumer protection rights, visit omvic.ca. And if you need any additional car buying advice, recommendations, or help with getting a great deal on your next car purchase, make sure to visit carhelpcan.com. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.